Ibrahim Traoré, declining an invitation to the U.S. and why it matters. The invitation that wasn't. In early May 2025, rumors began circulating online claiming that Traoré had declined an invite to the U.S. Oval Office. These claims spread widely via social media, particularly TikTok and other short-form platforms. Yet fact-checkers quickly moved in. News verifier Africa, after checking official U.S. White House sources and carrying out reverse image forensics on the invitation, concluded there was no credible evidence it had ever existed. Their verdict was clear: the claim is false. What Traoré actually did. While the Oval Office claim was debunked, the rumor stemmed from a kernel of truth. Traoré did reject comments and criticisms from U.S. officials, chiefly targeting General Michael Langley, head of U.S. Africa Command, AFRICOM, who accused Traoré of misappropriating Burkina Faso's gold reserves. In mid-May, Traoré publicly fired back during an interview with Sputnik, a Russian outlet, strongly denying the accusations, calling them false and unacceptable. He confirmed that Burkina Faso had filed a diplomatic protest via its foreign ministry, stating plainly, "It's not his gold, it's Burkina's gold." Through these denials, Traoré positioned himself as a defender of national sovereignty, rejecting Western interference and defending his regime's control of gold revenue. Please like and subscribe to keep this channel alive. Thank you. Messages of sovereignty and solidarity. Traoré's rejection of Western criticism not only aligns with his broader stance but also serves two strategic goals. Sovereign authority. By treating the gold issue as an internal matter, Traoré reinforces his power as caretaker of national resources, a point that he emphasized by repeatedly pointing out that his administration was the first to formalize a national gold reserve. Anti-West bloc formation. His refusal to engage with U.S. accusations dovetails with his broader diplomatic pivot away from France and the West, and closer alignment with Russia. Burkina Faso's creation of the Alliance of Sahel states, alongside Mali and Niger, which echoes his rejection of Western dominance, underscores this realignment. Why it matters, context and consequences. Traoré's dismissals and posture connect to several wider developments in regional geopolitics. 1. Domestic popularity versus humanitarian concerns. He enjoys strong support among younger Burkinabe and Pan-Africanists, who laud his stand against neo-colonial predation. Thousands rallied in April under the slogan "Long Live Captain Traoré", with messaging against AFRICOM's Langley demonstrating grassroots approval. Yet, beneath political theatre, the country remains in acute crisis. Jihadist insurgencies have displaced over 2.1 million people, more than 60% of the territory lies outside government control, and the death toll from violence has soared. 2. Symbolism versus reality. Traoré invokes the legacy of Thomas Sankara and champions Pan-African self-reliance, rerouting gold revenues, rebuilding domestic resource chains, like a gold refinery approved in late 2023, and investing in infrastructure. He rejects external dictates while spreading nationalistic, Africa First messaging. But human rights groups point to increasing authoritarian tendencies, censorship of independent media, forced conscriptions, and suppression of dissent. 3. Shifting alliances on the global stage. Traoré's resistance to Western pressure, including the gold accusations, is part of Burkina Faso's pivot to the global south. He's not only expelled French diplomats, April 2024, but intentionally courts Russian strategic and economic partnerships while formally rejecting Western aid, framework, and cooperation. This shift is a piece of a broader geopolitical reshuffle in the Sahel, where military governments assert autonomy at the cost of democratic norms. Please like and subscribe to keep this channel alive. Thank you. Final takeaway. No Oval Office invite. The claim that Traoré turned down a U.S. presidential invitation by itself is false. Yes to rejecting U.S. pressure. What is true is Traoré's public rejection of U.S. military criticism and accusations, especially regarding gold, and his diplomatic protest reflects a deliberate effort to assert sovereignty. A larger shift, these actions fit a broader strategy to reorient Burkina Faso away from Western influence, toward regional solidarity, national control of resources, and partnerships with non-Western powers like Russia. Traoré's rejection of U.S. influence, expanding on the broader implications for Burkina Faso, the Sahel region, and global geopolitics. 1. The gold economy and national resource control. Traoré's government has made the gold sector a national priority. Burkina Faso is one of Africa's top gold producers, but historically, much of its gold wealth has benefited foreign corporations and elite intermediaries. In 2023, Traoré signed a decree to nationalize part of the gold output and established a state reserve, shifting some gold away from export and toward national storage. This move was widely praised in Pan-African circles and seen as a revival of Thomas Sankara's self-reliance vision. U.S. AFRICOM General Michael Langley's allegation that the gold is going somewhere else was viewed by Traoré's administration as not just misinformation but an affront to national dignity. His strong rebuttal and refusal to cooperate with American demands was a calculated decision, to reinforce that Burkina Faso is no longer operating under Western economic tutelage. This has real consequences. Since early 2024, Burkina has signed gold-backed bilateral trade agreements with Russia and Turkey, bypassing the US dollar. This de-dollarization mirrors efforts by the BRICS bloc and points to a broader anti-Western financial strategy emerging in the region. 2. The security crisis, success or spiral. Traoré came to power promising to restore security. He blamed the previous French-backed civilian government for enabling jihadist expansion. He expelled French troops, ended defense pacts, and launched a civilian military volunteer program, VDP. Critics call it militia-based and chaotic, but supporters claim it empowers local populations. However, the numbers tell a mixed story. Violence has increased since the coup, with more than 7,000 conflict-related deaths in the past year, up from 2,900 in 2022. Over 2 million people have been displaced, and 60% of Burkina's territory is out of state control, AP. Human rights groups report abuses by state forces and VDPs, as well as targeting of journalists and suppression of NGOs. Despite this, Traoré enjoys a high domestic approval rating, especially among youth. His messaging that the West failed Burkina, and Africans must secure Africa is resonating. Please like and subscribe to keep this channel alive. Thank you. The Alliance of Sahel States and Anti-West Realignment. Burkina Faso, under Traoré's leadership, has joined Mali and Niger in forming the Alliance of Sahel States, EAS, a mutual defense and economic pact that explicitly opposes ECOWAS sanctions and Western influence. The EAS expelled French troops from all three countries, signed joint military defense protocols, promoted local governance based on sovereignty-first principles. This bloc is being closely watched by Russia and China, both of whom are expanding their influence in West Africa. Wagner forces, now rebranded as Africa Corps, are reported to be training local security forces in Burkina Faso, while Russian diplomats openly court the Sahel as a front line of global multipolarity. By declining any cooperation with the US, Traoré is pushing the region into a new geopolitical orientation, no longer anchored to Washington, Paris, or Brussels. Please like and subscribe to keep this channel alive. Thank you. Conclusion: a fork in the road. Ibrahim Traoré's symbolic and diplomatic rebuff of the US is not an isolated act. It is part of a calculated rejection of Western oversight, embedded in a wider effort to restore national dignity, secure natural resources, and rewrite West Africa's place in the world. Yet, this comes with risks. A humanitarian crisis is deepening. Governance is becoming more opaque. Civil liberties are under strain. Whether history will remember Traoré as a revolutionary reformer or a charismatic autocrat will depend on whether his vision of African sovereignty can bring peace, prosperity, and inclusion or simply usher in a new form of authoritarianism, cloaked in national pride.